Welcome to techCast, the podcast that quenches curiosity, powered by Q&A Markham. techCast, where we deep dive into the exciting world of technology, bringing you the latest trends, innovations, and thought-provoking discussions. Join us on this exciting journey as we explore the boundless possibilities of technology.
Hello, Dr. Hoda. How are you? And it's a pleasure having you here with us today. Could you introduce yourself a little bit of your introduction of yourself?
Hi, Yeshi, how are you? It's a pleasure to be with you here in your podcast today. My name is Hoda AlKhzaimi. I work in the landscape of emerging technologies and emerging investments. I'm an assistant professor in NYU. I'm directing the Center for Cybersecurity at the moment in NYU. I'm as well the co-chair for the Global Future Council for Cybersecurity in the World Economic Forum. I as well lead a center called EmirateSec, which is a center for advanced research and development, focused on emerging technology aspects in general. So that's me in a nutshell.
That's amazing, and it's a pleasure having you here with us today. And we are eager to learn from your insight. So let's get started with our first question. So, as with the new technologies are emerging these days, and they are getting us a lot of businesses model also. So, how do you see the role of government regulations in striking a balance between promoting innovations and safeguarding consumer from potential unfair practices?
Amazing. So I think the role of the government in fostering innovation and at the same time protecting consumers at large is very important. And we shouldn't take it, lightly, because it's not an easy equation to hit. We've seen in the past governments that are facing global regulations when it comes to AI, for example, or when it comes to quantum computing, when it comes to emerging aspects of technologies, with a tough, strenuous models of that would stop unfair practices that might lead to privacy violation, for example, or a negative social impact in general. But at the same time, they might lead to stifle the innovation aspects that comes with this kind of platform. So striking the balance, it requires informative and regulatory bodies across the platform for them to understand that they need to make sure that they need to build collaboration platforms amidst different experts, amidst different, I would say, civil society groups, and as well a government specialist or a policy specialist who are on the map. So building that kind of multi-layer stakeholders approach in addressing the problem is very important. And in the past, we have listened and we have seen a rise to a global regulatory technology, or what we called RegTech market, that helped not just government seek an agile posture, but also help institutions and corporates adopt a different, I would say, pathway than just prohibit all kind of innovations. It's when we talk about the RegTech market, for example, it's expected to rise beyond 50 billion kind of investment by 2025. And this sector is massively needed when it comes to addressing the issues that we are facing within the emerging tech kind of a space. I don't know if you, Yeshi, heard recently in June,
Yes.
for example,
Yeah.
2023, we have push for AI measures, for example, from the Chinese government to address privacy aspects and to address fines, but at the same time leave a leeway of a growth and innovation when it comes to building these technologies. And at the same time, when it comes to the current global AI Act, or not global, sorry, EU AI Act that has been pushed We've seen a few of the clauses takes a very generic terms or a very generic structure. Maybe I would assume to allow a little bit of innovation when it comes to building the technology that comes associated with. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like sometimes finding a balance between the innovation and security can be quite challenging. And also, like speaking of challenges, could you elaborate on the hurdles that government face in adapting and developing regulations that keep pace with the lightning fast rate of technological innovation?
Yeah, I mean, we have always faced this issue, right? The technology is taking a base of I don't know, light years in advance, and we are building the regulation and the security countermeasures that comes with this technology as an afterthought, um, which I would say is not going to be in sync with the way we are building this technology. Take, for example, the way we are handling generative AI at the moment, regulations or AI regulations across board. We've been talking for the past, I think, 4 or 5 years about the necessity of building bodies of ethical regulations toward AI.
Yes.
And today, when we have been hit with the massive technological advances with large language models that impacted current growth of generative AI market, um, w- we acted as if we're shocked, right? Only 44% um, across the globe, I mean, like countries across the globe who regulated AI or thought of regulating AI or build ecosystem or strategies around regulating AI can be uh, can be accounted to 60% of the global landscape. So that leaves around 40% of countries with zero readiness when it comes to AI regulation or specific AI regulations. The and that leaves us struggling, I would say, and to building the right base of addressing technology development or the complexity of technology development and the impact of that development with the current, I would say, regulation market. As a solution pathway, I think it's very important to impose on technology development companies. I would think of two approaches. The first approach to impose on the tech development ecosystem, that kind of mandate to think of regulations and policies that would enable faster adaptation or safer ethical adaptation to technology across different communities across different markets.
Yes.
So they have also I would say, they have the responsibility to bring in responsible technology to market, and they have to announce the release of the technology in advance, as well as maybe think of the co-development aspect when it comes to building technology. In the past, we always thought that technology is or outsource technology development to the big tycoons who are overtaking the market development. But in today's world, we've seen a big echo globally from different standardization bodies to maybe it's time to address the fact that maybe there should be a room of co-development
Yes.
when it comes between the users and these companies when it comes to building a piece of technology or a piece of product that addresses emerging technology and brought to market. For example, the issues that happened related to social media,
Yeah.
yeah, acts in different countries when it comes to privacy, addressing privacy concerns and data restrictions. People, I would say users, has been informed that they don't want this 100% ownership of their data to be waived and to be,
Someone else.
yeah, overtaken by someone else, but they want to make sure that they select what part of their data is being shared, what part of their data they want to monetize. They have access to granular access, I would say, and transparent access to who's using their data, when are they using it, for what reason exactly. So building to that level of transparency requires a co-development effort from the user side as well. So I mean, building these co-development aspect is very important. And maybe one of the third practices that we've seen very heavily used in the fintech, for example, or crypto markets, and currently in generative AI market is sandboxing the technology before pushing it to market, making sure that you put it in a very restricted, controlled environment, subjected to specific pool of users to make sure that it adhere to security, lower risk constraints, and as well to ethical practices before pushing it to market.
Absolutely. And like, yeah, transparency is something which is required to like for
Yeah.
getting to know like where my data is being used and where it is going. Okay, so right now we talked about AI as well. So speaking of AI, it is being adopted across various domains, including security. So what role do you envision AI is playing in fortifying our defense against cyber threat driven by emerging technologies?
Okay. So what is your major concern, Yashi, here? What are we trying to address?
Okay, so I want to know about like what role does AI is playing? Like if we talk about cyber threats and cyber security, so what role basically AI is playing? Like we are using AI in all the aspects. Like you can talk about Chat GPT, and we have a lot of softwares which are now related to AI. Like talk about Canva. So now Canva is something they have made relate or like adding it with AI and Canva. It's like some I just have to put some inputs and my design will be created. So that like, do you think that AI will be some kind of threats? Like the technology is emerging, but yeah, what kind of threat it can bring?
So when it comes to the impact of emerging technology and AI, particularly on the landscape of security, definitely we have seen a massive reshape of the landscape when it comes to discovery of a new attack vectors, for example, threat intelligence and opportunities of defense have taken a different kind of a spectrum. We've seen in the past, AI coupled with cybersecurity tools coming to market that would maybe provide a better proliferation, for example, IoT devices, for specific attack spheres of these devices. And the expected growth, the expected reported growth for this market is over $40 billion by 2025. Which means that again, we will see two trends. We will improve defenses and maybe customize defenses, but also will improve attacks and customize attacks on specific platforms. So we'll improve the attack surface for specific cyber criminals, as we have seen in the past. The growth expectation for the market when it comes to investing at the moment in cybersecurity and AI has been expected to be more than 20% from 2021 to 2026, which is a great indicator about the potential of impact that we are going to see here. Now, when it comes to the categories of different aspects that we should be aware of or we should be careful about when it comes to addressing the risks of AI as a cybersecurity expert. So one of the major, I would say, one of the major concerns is the role of the ethical aspects of AI, the role of biases that are being used in these algorithms, how these biases will be implicated later on as a manner of discriminating against specific target and maybe subjecting or targeting false positives and false negatives into the platform that don't exist and magnify that. So this is what we call maybe pool poisoning and targeting specific I would say, vulnerable groups. And this is what we've seen in specific face recognition systems that has been banned in the past. So we see certain practices or departments, justice departments, for example, not allowing using AI tools because they might add to this mass automation of unfair biases within the system. The other aspect is what you just discussed about Canva, is what is the role of, for example, of intellectual property here? Who owns what exactly? And how can we follow the integrity of the output and make sure that the people who are, I would say, addressing the different roles are being given their due rights to ownership across board. We have seen as well a rise to a specific, as I said, we said specific types of attacks in the past, maybe fake news and as well as um, misinformation
Yeah.
has seen a growth in the past. We've seen a growth of deep fakes, and this is a bit worrying because we need to make sure that information that would be generated by AI tools should be pre-declared in any kind of a platform, being any kind of social media platform or any kind of um, public platform, because then it would be easier for you to detect if there has been a mass campaign of misinformation or deep fakes that has been issued into the market. As well, the rule of issuing responsibilities over action has been, or accountability of action has been massively considered a concern, because who is responsible if an automated system and self-driving car decided to run over a passenger because there is a malfunction in the algorithm? Is it the blame of the algorithm? Should we blame the algorithm? Should we blame the the manufacturing company, or should we blame the driver himself for setting that up? All of these intertwined kind of concerns have maximized the responsibility landscape when it comes to addressing cyber threats and cybersecurity across different platforms. Um, I mean, we have to think of different upskilling approaches when it comes to educating our cybersecurity professionals, because it's not enough today to just build cybersecurity professionals who are operationally very, I would say, well educated, but we need them as well to be good and building their own R&D measures, research and development units. Why? Because they need to address these attacks, they need to come up with the solutions themselves, and they need to critically analyze what's happening on the ground, and maybe bring a new products to market that we didn't see in the past. We are anticipating to see a growth in the use of AI-driven security solution from previously 8 billion that has been addressed in 2020 to 38 billion in 2026. And this is an indication of faster adaptation of AI in cybersecurity, I would say, platforms across board.
Well said. We can say that the relationship between the innovation and security is kind of a complex.
It is complex, but it's also easily addressed if you build the right
Right.
caliber of operation, because it's not enough to just address operation security or cut every kind of responsibility into IT security or OT security and say it's not the responsibility of certain units. We need to merge all groups together in one unified front and make sure that we have the capacity to build in for our own solutions in a customized manner. So what we have today is a better understanding for the rationale of establishing cybersecurity competency. We have 94% in one of the recent Deloitte surveys saying 94% of the leadership of organizations would recognize the importance of addressing cybersecurity, not as just a concern, but also as an opportunity to reflect positively on the reputation of the organization and positively contribute to, I would say, an increased valuation of their assets. So cybersecurity has become a mean of improving your stance or your position or your posture in stock market, and thus implying a positive valuation of your asset in stock market across board.
Absolutely. So moving forward, could you highlight a few specific emerging technologies that you believe will have the most profound implications for security in coming years, and what potential risks or susceptibilities they might introduce?
Ah, so I think it's a bit difficult to pick and choose now, huh? Because we're dealing with a market
Yeah.
or with a category of a market product that is continuously evolving. That's what we mean by emerging technology. There is a continuous evolution. There is a high level of uncertainty of their growth. You don't know if we will grow at a mass adaptation in 1 month or maybe in 1 year because of one breakthrough in this technology. So I would say it's a bit concerning of what are we pushing for when it comes to the cybersecurity lead kind of trends that are happening today. I would say brain computer interfaces, for example, today is a major concern because you're pushing all of this kind of energy harvesting devices or devices that would understand the brain cognition and then maybe affect reactions on the brain into the human body. So what does it mean in terms of implication of security? Are we considering security on these devices or not yet? So this is one of the major concerns out there. Quantum computing is another because it would change the computational uh, complexity that is available for the attacker or for the defender using current classical defense measures. So we know quantum computing, if it's manifested in 2025 as it's been anticipated by the big tech who's leading these efforts, might lead to an obsolete encryption algorithms or cryptographic algorithms that are being used massively in banking infrastructure today. So the impact of current infrastructure and massive deployment of a new emerging tech kind of concept is very concerning. This is to name few. Like we talked about AI, how AI impacted, for example, advances and deep learning markets. So, and then when we're having deep learning markets, large language models happening, and then building a new landscape of attacks, like what we've said, in terms of deep fakes or misinformation that are happening today. And that's being as well used as a projected campaign that will grow massively in the next years to over $1 billion. So I want to also address the security of hardware platforms or semiconductors that are being currently developed. So we're having a lot of new semiconductors that are being developed and for example uh, across the world and to name few, we don't know how the impact of their massive deployment or the impact of on energy or the impact of multiple things that are happening across the platform. Yep.
Okay, shifting gears slightly, that the World Economic Forum plays a pivotal role in shaping the global agendas. So, how does the Global Future Council for Cybersecurity contributes to raising awareness and addressing the security challenges posed by emerging technologies?
So the main role of the Global Future Council is to raise attention of and thought leadership and do research and policy recommendation that would help reshape the global awareness when it comes to cybersecurity and maybe potentially help reset the global priorities or the global agenda for the sector. So it has been playing in the past a massive role in informing the governments, the industries, the public civic societies on what to keep in their mind when they want to address cyber priorities or priorities in general related to intertwined agenda, not necessarily to one specific topic. It's a 360 evaluation of the initiatives and how these initiatives, cyber initiatives, are influencing the international conversation and topics, for example, like emerging tech, data privacy, AI and ethics, and cyber threats and other aspects.
Interesting, a crucial, it's kind of a like crucial mission, I can say, or like
it is a very important mission, and we've seen in the past many of the global many of the global players taking into consideration cybersecurity or security as a major, I would say, agenda item. We've seen in the UN, for example, in the Security Council session recently held in July, AI and security of AI being an emerging, I would say, generative AI concerns is being placed at the top of the agenda by the General Secretary. We've seen as well how ITU has been championed the cyber agenda globally on multiple aspects. We've seen other UN missions who are as well address the importance of cybersecurity. So globally, there is always one form of mobility or other where we are trying to have that kind of a global, I would say, agreement or towards addressing cybersecurity in general.
perfect. So now we conclude our podcast over here, actually interview over here. And thank you for sharing your insights, valuable insights for the connection between the emerging technologies and security. And it was a pleasure like talking to you and getting to know a lot about it. And yeah, that's it. And would like to have your like personal interview in our podcast room soon.
Hopefully, when we're born in the
Yeah,
same
I'm
office.
eagerly like waiting for
Be
that.
more
Like
than
to
happy.
have you in person in our studio and like talking in face to face, like not virtually, but yeah.
Thank you, Shi. Thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you for your
Thank you so
audience.
much,
I
Dr.
hope
Hoda. Thank you
you've
so much for
enjoyed this.
techCast, powered by Q&A Markham, unraveling the enigmas of the digital age in every episode. Subscribe to techCast on YouTube and on your favorite podcast directory, and never miss an update.